Jumaring, jugging, jugmaring, it's all a means of ascending a fixed rope. Climbers often refer to the ascenders as jugs. Cleaning a pitch or simply ascending fixed lines to a previously established high point defines the basis for this important tool. Remember your fancy daisy chains? This is the time these babies really get used to do an important job, as they are each attached via locking carabiner to the bottom hole in your jumars. You can refer to previous climbing tech tips videos on the proper way to set up your daisy chains. When cleaning a pitch or ascending a fixed line, you most often need 2 ascenders. It is also important to have some sort of third device or system to back yourself up, something that can't easily become disengaged from the rope. Examples include a GriGri or simply knots on a bight. Ascending a rope in a plumb straight line is quite easy once you get used to the awkward movements. Cleaning a pitch where the rope is clipped through carabiners is a little more complicated. When a pitch becomes diagonal, jumaring is even slightly more challenging. Cleaning a fully traversing pitch is the most technically difficult of all. Here we depict the different jumaring styles and scenarios. I'm going to take my upper jumar, open the cam, slide it in the rope, close it, and I'll grab my bottom jumar, left hand, put it on the rope, close it. Now this is the critical part, is determining the distance between myself and the upper jumar. I don't want it to be too far away from me where it can get out of reach. You're gonna have to figure out yourself which pocket on your daisy chain can accommodate this. I think I'm about the 4th one, so I'll put it in here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and lock the carabiner. And the way we test it is essentially when this jumar is tight and all my weight is committed to the line, I wanna be able to still reach that jumar. So having a slight bend in my elbow here is my test to see if I'm at the right length. Once I've determined that, I can go ahead and slide up the bottom one and attach my bottom daisy chain to that. This distance is not as critical. I can clip it in anywhere. A little longer is better. Lock the carabiner. And then I'll just go ahead and take my aiders and clip those, leave them on the carabiner and clip them right into the locking carabiner on the jumar. So this is your standard jumar setup system you'll use for ascending the rope. Once I get up a bit, I'll tie some backup knots in. So I'm just gonna stand in this bottom aider. I have to find a foot level that's comfortable for me. Again, it might take a few minutes of playing around to see what you're comfortable with. And then holding the bottom jumar, because the jumars will only move up when they're unweighted. So I will weight the bottom one and stand up and pull myself in and slide the right one up. And then I'll immediately sit so I'm hanging on my daisy chain from the upper jumar. If I want to have both feet in, when I'm hanging on the blue one, I will slide the gold one up, stand in the gold one again, and slide the blue one up. Okay, then I can just repeat as I go up. Now, since these 2 jumars are my only attachment points to the line, I'm going to make sure that if for some reason through all this twisting and turning, they were to pop off, that I'm backed up and I don't fall to the ground. So right here, just below me, I'll take a bight of rope, tie it overhand or a figure-8 knot. I choose to use a figure-8 knot, it's a little stronger. Tie a figure-8 knot on a bight, and I will clip that into my belay loop on my harness into a locking carabiner. So I have my backup knots in here. And once again, since the ascenders are my only main attachment point to the rope, I can increase my safety by putting a locking carabiner into this hole right here on the jumar and around the rope. So I'll come in like this, and whether or not it's a locking carabiner or a non-locker probably isn't too important. That may be up for debate. But since I do have an extra locker, I'll go ahead and put that in and I'll lock the gate there. Seems a little more bomber. And that would at least prevent the jumar from coming off of the rope. It could still disengage, but
but it won't come off of the rope. Okay, now I can just continue jumaring. So now that I'm up a ways, I'm gonna go ahead and just repeat the backup knot. I'm gonna stop here, go ahead and grab a bight of rope, tie another figure 8 on a bight, and clip it into the locking carabiner on my harness and make sure that I lock that baby.
At Climbing Tech Tips, we prefer the standard setup for jumaring in order to ascend a rope. Being comfortable with all techniques is imperative to the team's speed when taking on huge objectives and big wall climbing.